Alright, guys. Now, Nottingham Forest, as we all know, are back in the Premier League for the first time this millennium. You could actually say. I was going to say century, but no, it's actually millennium. It's only been 23 years, but still new millennium since then. Um, and obviously, one of the big questions is, will they, stay up? Will they manage to avoid relegation? And it is a tricky question to answer because you'd say, on the basis of how they did last season, or certainly for the final 6 or 7 months of the season, that yes, they should stay up because there were a lot of Premier League sides last season who Nottingham Forest were better than. However, Nottingham Forest have got a big problem on their hands with the fact that a lot of their best players last season were not players who were permanently at the club. The likes of James Garner, Keenan Davis, and like that, there's quite a few of them. So that they are going to maybe struggle the first few weeks if they do need to bring in a lot of signings, which they do. But then again, you've got Steve Cooper as manager, who I firmly believe is probably top 10 English managers in English football now. I don't think that's such a ridiculous thing to say. He probably is. And he's done a terrific job at Forest to get them into the Premier League. Now they've got some very good players that are their own. Worrell at centre back, and Brennan Johnson obviously going forward as well, and a few more well-known names as well, like Jack Colback. So yeah, they've got some good players, but the amount of players they're losing on loan, there was Davis, Garner, as I've already said, Jed Spence, and Zinkernagel as well. So many players are going, so that is going to be the main problem for them. They've also signed Taiwo Aranai, don't know how to say it yet. We'll find out soon, I'm guessing. Who was actually formerly of my team, Liverpool, but never actually played for us because I believe it was because of like work permit problems where he just couldn't play in this country, I don't think. So Liverpool kept loaning him out, and he went on about 6 or 7 loan moves over about a 5 or 6 year period. And yeah, he never did spectacularly at any of the loan moves, but since he's moved to Union Berlin, and they've done really well in the Bundesliga this season, he scored quite a lot of goals. I think it was like 15 or 20 goals for them this season. So if he can hit form in the Premier League, that should, cover their loss of Keenan Davis this season, definitely. Um, Signing Jed Spence permanently probably still isn't out of the realms of possibility. Spurs seem to be stalling a little bit on signing him. Like, he was rumoured to be one of their top targets, but they seem to have like prioritised other signings like Perisic, Basuma, and Forster. Whether they'll sign him or not is yet to be seen. Um, yeah, I'd imagine if it was up to Spence, he'd probably rather go to Spurs purely for the Champions League football, and also that they fit his style as well with the wing backs. So yeah, that probably won't happen in terms of Spence going to Forest. They've also been linked with Dean Henderson joining as a replacement for Brice Samba, who has turned down a new contract to go back to France. I think it is. He's joining someone in France. Can't remember who it is. And yeah, he was a big part in why they got to the playoff final, especially with that playoff semi final against who was it against Sheffield United, I think. So yeah, that's another big miss. But I also think there is that like I don't know what phrase to use, but like a new team bounce. Like you get like an uplift of spirits when it's like a new team in the Premier League. Like I think we've seen it with Huddersfield a few years ago. Like they did quite well their first season. Okay, towards the end of the season it dipped off a bit, but they made a really good start to that season. I think they won their first game like 3-0 away at Crystal Palace. They also beat Man United near the start of the season. Newcastle as well. They had a really solid start to the season, Huddersfield did. And there are plenty of teams who do that. Sheffield United, we saw that as well. They hadn't been in the Prem for about a decade, came up and did well. So yeah, I think Forest, in terms of the feeling around the club, it's going to be very positive. Obviously, it's not going to be like Norwich or Fulham or West Brom when they come up and it's like, okay, our goal is just to survive. With Forest, it's almost like getting in the Prem is like the feel good moments, and it's not about surviving. It's just about enjoying it, which maybe takes the pressure off a little bit. So that we'll see if that plays into their hands or not. The fans are obviously going to be up for it, and yeah. In terms of my prediction, will they stay up? Obviously, it depends on who they sign in the final 2 months left in the transfer window now. But I'm going to make an early prediction and say that they do manage to stay up. I just can't see them going down. That's the main reason why, which means automatically they stay up. So yeah, I'm going to say Nottingham Forest are going to stay up this season. I think if Loanee and Brennan Johnson can, start scoring goals in the Prem, then they shouldn't have too many problems. I think the biggest problem they're going to face is that they need like a proper box-to-box midfielder. Is from what I've seen of them, if they are losing James Garner. So yeah, that would be the biggest problem for them to cover. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.